Duncan Cowan Ferguson is a Scottish former footballer. He was nicknamed Big Dunc, and Duncan Disorderly. Ferguson began his football career at Carse Thistle before being signed by Dundee United in 1990 on his first professional contract. He moved to Rangers in 1993 for a then-British transfer record of £4 million. He spent the remainder of his career in England with two spells at Everton and Newcastle United between 1998 and 2000. Ferguson retired from football in 2006. During his career, Ferguson won the FA Cup with Everton in 1995, competed in the qualifying stages of the UEFA Champions League in 2005, also with Everton, and participated in the UEFA Cup in 1999 with Newcastle and 2005 with Everton. He was capped for Scotland 7 times but made himself unavailable for selection in his national team due to a dispute with the Scottish Football Association. He has scored more goals than any other Scottish player in the FA Premier League. Ferguson was noted for his aggressive and highly competitive style of play, which resulted in 9 red cards and a 3-month prison sentence following an on-field assault of Raith Rovers' John McStay in 1994. Club career Dundee United Born in Stirling, Ferguson played for the juvenile side Carse Thistle. Dundee United signed him as a schoolboy and he went on to win the BP Youth Cup in 1990. Later that year Ferguson made his professional debut for Dundee United against Rangers at Ibrox Stadium on November 10, 1990. His first goal was an extra-time winner against East Fife in the Scottish Cup on January 29, 1991. The following season saw him become a first-team regular. With 41 appearances and 16 goals he became the club's top scorer. His good form continued in 1992 Euro 93 with 33 appearances and 15 goals. The form he displayed at Dundee United also saw him win a call-up to the Scottish national team. Rangers In the A4 Euro 0 defeat of Raith Rovers, Ferguson head-butted the visitors' John McStay in the southwest corner of the Ibrox pitch. Referee Kenny Clark spotted the incident and booked Ferguson, but he was then subsequently charged with assault and, as it was his 4th such conviction, he received a 3-month prison sentence in 1995, by which time he had left the club. Ferguson scored a last Euro-minute winner against Motherwell, from a Brian Laudrup assist on the first game of the season. 4 days later, Ferguson scored a Hartley Euro trick in a 6 Euro 1 win over Arbroath. A Champions League qualifier against AEK Athens left Rangers to a Euro 0 down after the first leg. Everton In October 1994, Everton was struggling under the management of Mike Walker and looking for options to reinvigorate their faltering season. The solution enacted was to take 2 Rangers players on loan a Euro deal, Ian Durrant for 1 month and Ferguson for 3. Ferguson's move to Everton was later made permanent by Walker's successor Joe Royle, and Ferguson played a key role in not only saving Everton from relegation, but also helping them win the FA Cup. The subsequent, 1995 Euro 96 season was less successful for Ferguson. A persistent hernia problem caused him to be unavailable for large amounts of time, as did his brief spell in prison during the first half of the season. On December 28, 1997, Ferguson scored a hat-trick against Bolton Wanderers in a 3 Euro 2 victory, but Everton finished the season surviving relegation only on goal difference. Ferguson was controversially sold to Newcastle United for a fee of £8 million in November 1998. The deal was done to sell Ferguson by the Everton chairman, Peter Johnson, without the knowledge of Walter Smith. Ferguson wrote a 2-page goodbye letter in the club magazine to fans, stating his sadness at leaving and that he would never forget them. Newcastle United Upon bringing Ferguson to Newcastle, team manager Ruud Gullit was swiftly rewarded. Ferguson scored twice on his debut against Wimbledon in the Premier League. The final result was a 3 Euro 1 victory to Newcastle and the tantalising prospect of Ferguson and Alan Shearer forming a formidable strike partnership. Though it was not to be. Ferguson again found himself struck down by injury and appeared only 7 times for Newcastle during the 1998 Euro 99 season. He did however make a substitute appearance in the 1999 FA Cup final. His extended absence lasted from late December until April and curbed the early promise of his Tyneside career. Likewise, the first half of 1999 Euro 2000 brought more misfortune for Ferguson. Injury would once again hinder Ferguson's career and he was unable to participate in the final 7 league matches of the season. These injury woes made his position at Newcastle untenable and he was eventually sold back to Everton by Bobby Robson for a £3.75 million. Almost half the price he was bought for from Everton 2 seasons earlier. His final appearance came in the FA Cup semi-final defeat to eventual winners Chelsea. Return to Everton . Ferguson's low point of the 2005 Euro 06 season was his sending off against Wigan Athletic for violent conduct. His confrontation with Paul Scarner and subsequent fracas with Pascal Kimbonda resulted in a 7-match ban and saw his Premier League Reader Euro card count reach 8, equaling Patrick Vieira's record. Scarner later claimed that he had sworn at Ferguson in his native language and that the Everton man's punch was a nice punch. On May 7, 2006, against West Bromwich Albion at Goodison Park, Ferguson was named captain in the game that marked the end of his Everton career. His 90th-minute penalty kick was saved by Thomas Gushkirk, but he subsequently scored from the rebound, netting his final goal for the club. Ferguson was not given a new Everton deal and retired, moving his family to Mallorca and spurning advances from a number of clubs. Ferguson played for Everton in a testimonial match in his honour on August 2, 2015. Coaching career. Having spent 5 years in Mallorca following his retirement from playing, Ferguson contacted his former manager at Everton David Moyes. Ferguson apologised to Moyes for not shaking his hand when he left the club in 2005. The pair resolved their differences and Ferguson asked if he could work with the Everton Academy students at Finch Farm. Initially Ferguson was a voluntary worker at the academy, working for fellow Glaswegian Alan Irvine, a former mentor of his from his playing career. Although Ferguson remains disappointed with the Scottish FA for what he sees as a lack of support following his sentencing in 1995, he enrolled on a 9-day Scottish FA-organised coaching course in Largs, Scotland to earn a UEFAB licence. In May 2012, he returned to Largs to achieve a UEFA licence and in January 2013 he enrolled on a further course and is working towards a UEFA Pro licence. As of February 2014 Ferguson has been promoted to first-team coaching staff at Everton. His first game in the role will be a home game against West Ham United on 1 March 2014. He is reported to be relishing the role. In May 2013, former Everton manager Howard Kendall stated that Duncan Ferguson should be considered for the Everton managerial position following David Moyes' imminent exit. Personal life. Burglary attempt at his home. In 2001, Ferguson was the victim of a burglary attempt by 2 men at his then home in Rufford, between Liverpool and Preston. Ferguson confronted the pair and was able to detain one of them, who subsequently spent 3 days in hospital. The second man managed to flee but was eventually caught. Both men were sentenced to 15 months imprisonment for their actions. Convictions for physical altercations. Ferguson has had 4 convictions for assault, 2 arising from taxia Euro-rank scuffles, 1 an altercation with a fisherman in an Anstruther pub and, the most infamous, his only Euro field headbutt on Wraith Rovers defender John McStay in 1994 while playing for Rangers, which resulted in a rare conviction for an on-the-field incident. The first incident led to a £100 fine for headbutting a policeman, while the second resulted in a £200 fine for punching and kicking a supporter on crutches. He was sentenced to a year's probation for the third offence. For the 1994 on-the-field headbutting of the opposition's footballer, he received and served a 3-month jail term for assault. Ferguson's troubles with the law and his imprisonment inspired Finnish composer Osmo Tapio Currency La Currency to write a symphonic poem as a musical portrait of Ferguson, titled Barlini 9, presumably a reference to HM Prison Barlini where Ferguson served his sentence. Campaigning. Ferguson has pledged his support to the Keep Everton in Our City campaign, making a rare public statement. Statistics, all figures correct as of 0747, December 27, 2006. Club performance international appearances as of 2209, August 3, 2015, Ferguson refused international selection after 1997, in part in protest against his treatment by the SFA after his conviction for assault on John McStay, particularly the imposition of a 12-game ban on top of his 3-month prison sentence. Honours Everton FA Cup, 1. 1994-95. Rangers Scottish League Premier Division. 1993 Euro 94. References for statistics, statistics from BBC Sport, statistics from Guardian Unlimited, statistics from Sky Sports, Duncan Ferguson career statistics at Soxabase, statistics from Yahoo Sport. External links, profile by Fourth Game, profile by Born to be Blue, profile by ESPN Soxanet, profile by Football Database, profile by Glenn Ross Arabs, profile by IC Liverpool, profile by Nil Satis Nisi Optimum, profile by Toffee Web, Duncan Ferguson at the Internet Movie Database.